It's been a bad couple of months for Bayer, the maker of Roundup weed killer. I'm Carey Gillam. I'm editor-in-chief of the new Lede. I've been covering the agricultural industry and Monsanto's place in it since 1998. When Bayer bought Monsanto in 2018,
This is truly a historic day for Bayer and for Monsanto.
it inherited thousands of lawsuits that had been filed by people suffering from non-Hodgkin lymphoma that they blamed on their exposure to these glyphosate weed killers. In mid-June, the Ramzini Institute in Italy released a new study looking at glyphosate and the potential carcinogenic impacts that this could have. What they found was really alarming.
What we did find with our study was that glyphosate and glyphosate-based herbicides were capable of inducing leukemia and a number of other tumors at doses that we currently consider safe.
Has Bayer been pushing back on you kind of under the table or pressuring Ramzini?
I've been here for 15 years, and these are the hardest days. Our aim is to tell the truth and to tackle the issues that nobody wants to tackle.
Bayer has been struggling for years now to try to find an exit ramp to this litigation. In March, a Georgia jury awarded a man there $2 billion in his court case against Bayer, in which he alleged that he developed his cancer from exposure to the company's weed killer. The plaintiff in the Georgia case was really representative of the plaintiffs in all of these cases. They all allege that using Roundup, being exposed to it, causes them to develop these cancers. In May, the company lost an appeal. The federal court, appellate court in Missouri, ruled in favor of plaintiffs who were awarded $611 million against the company. Bayer has widespread support from many of the largest U.S. farm organizations. These farm groups, many of which receive money from Bayer and other agrochemical companies, say that glyphosate is a very essential tool for farmers and that they need it to grow the crops that feed the world.
For an upcoming French documentary, a Canadian scientist has been caught in an Aaron Brockovich-like moment.
You can drink a whole quart of it and it won't hurt you.
You want to drink some? We have some here.
I'd be happy to, actually, but not really. But
I mean, you take this tool away from us, and you're going to have the opposite impact of what President Trump wanted us to do: is lower food prices.
Monsanto introduced its glyphosate weed killers in the 1970s.
Roundup is better. It goes through the plant to kill it, tops and rhizomes.
Glyphosate soon became the most widely used weed killer in the entire world. I think it's a really interesting time right now in the United States because you have the Trump administration, appealing to a very conservative base, who historically have really been about deregulation and support for corporate, freedom to operate that essentially feed, the profits of this large agrochemical industry.
Regulations, oh boy, it's a lot of regulations.
But then you have the MAHA movement.
I've never seen a president, Democrat or Republican, that is willing to stand up to industry when it's the right thing to do.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has been brought into the Trump administration, a lifelong Democrat who has railed against environmental pollutants for all of his career, including glyphosate, and participated in some of the Roundup litigation.
We know that Roundup is associated with all kinds of illnesses, with colon cancers, with kidney cancers, and with many, many other problems.
Mm-hmm. So you have this sort of paradox. The US EPA is, slashing and burning environmental rules, at a rapid pace. And yet we also have this movement to try to, rein in chronic disease and improve the health of Americans and reduce the use of pesticides and clean up our food supply. And all of this is happening at the same time. The thing that, affects potentially everyone is this effort by Bayer and allies in the agrochemical industry to push legislation that would make it difficult, if not impossible, for people to file lawsuits if they are injured by these products. In many states, these are being called immunity bills. So, it's very important to keep a close eye on these cases and the legislation that the companies are trying to push to block further cases. And we're trying to do that here at the New Lead and, bring you the latest on the legislative efforts as we find it.